Hey, hey, hey. It's April 1st. I wish I had a great April Fool's joke for you guys, but I don't. So, hi, everybody. It's Joycelyn Wells with Joy Exposed, and today is April 1st, Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. And let's just say it has been a week. So, we'll get started the way we always get started, and that is with our three cheers of joy. Tonight, for three cheers of joy, I'm drinking a Gold Scout American whiskey called Smooth Ambler. Oh, I'm sorry, Old Scout. It's called Smooth Ambler. So I haven't tried this. So this is something that I had that we had last week with Faceless Love. Oh, it was lipstick. I might take this off. Make me look crazy. Anyway, um so this is my Old Scout American whiskey called Smooth Ambler. This is what I'm drinking tonight. So I'm just running late, so I didn't pour already, so I'm pouring now. 50 cheers of joy. Thank you, Stephanie Specialties. She made this for me, and I have an idea for a couple more that I want, so I'm gonna put that order in, especially while we're on break. I know she has time, so let's get started. Three cheers of joy. Three cheers of joy. 3 moments of self-celebration that had nothing to do with anybody else, only you. So we'll get started that way. Um, so my first cheer of joy is um, that I'm keeping an even spirit, kind of even kill during this pandemic, during this shut in. We're getting new information every day, and I'm just trying to stay even kill with it and not get caught up with what I think it means or what it should mean or what's going to be next week or the week after. So I'm staying pretty even. I think that was one of my cheers of joy for last week. So that's I'm celebrating that again today. So to being even during this pandemic, there's so much information out there. So cheers to that. This isn't bad. I may have to drink it. So my second cheer of joy is that because of the pandemic, the tax season has been extended to July 15th. I'm very grateful for that because I had not put my receipts together. I had scanned several of them, but otherwise they just go in a my receipts go in an envelope marked like March 2019, April 2019. So I'm just stuffing them in there so that when it's time for me to go put everything together, this is the first year that I'm using a professional tax preparer because I usually do it myself. But now with my business stuff, I need somebody to do it for me. So I can't send my stuff to somebody else, and it's a damn disaster. So cheers to the tax season being extended till July 15th. So you guys saw me post earlier that yesterday I think I was going through my receipts or trying to get it together. So cheers to that. Hi Stephanie. Hi Dawn. Hi Katie. Good to see you guys. Thank you for joining me. You know I always appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. So here's to that. This is my second cheer. So my first cheer was to being even kill so far during the pandemic. I think we have weeks, possibly months ahead of us. So I've really got to make sure I'm in a good mental space. And I'm working on that. I'll talk about that a bit in a minute. And then the second one was the tax season was postponed to July 15th. My third cheer of joy is that I got to see Faceless Love last weekend. So I'm really excited about that because I hadn't seen him in about 5 weeks. So it's good that I got to see him because now I don't know when I'll get to see him again. So yay to that. And I'll talk about that a little bit too. So those are my three cheers of joy this week. I hope you guys are celebrating something yummy. I hope you're finding something inside of yourself to celebrate and not get bogged down by all the stuff that's around you and outside of you. Hi, Steph. And that you're just celebrating who you are, something intrinsic of you. So those are my three cheers of joy. Let me my quick recap because you know I do these off the cuff. I don't plan for them. So saying even kill, tax season deferred, and I got to see Faceless Love. Those are my three cheers of joy. So cheers to you guys. And I'm drinking Old Scout American whiskey called Smooth Ambler. Anybody like bourbons or whiskeys? This is a good one. This is really good. I like it a lot. It's out of my price range. So once this bottle is gone, it's gonna be a wrap. Anyway, so but it is pretty good. And once we get through this pandemic, I think I'm gonna do like a whiskey bourbon tasting because I talk about it on my show, and I know a lot of you haven't. Try to stay away from brown liquor, but that's that yucky brown liquor. Like I'm not even gonna say any names because I know you guys love some of them that I just cannot drink. So, but these are different. So once you get an opportunity to try some, you'll see it'll be different. So those are my three cheers of joy. I put some notes in my phone tonight because I usually kind of go off the cuff. But then I finish and I have so much other stuff I want to talk about. Like I don't know if you guys got to see. I put out two YouTubes videos called Coram Deo. And Coram Deo, I talked about, means in his presence or living in God's presence. And that's a mental space I'm trying to hang on to, is understanding that I don't have any control over what's going on around me. I can only control myself. That's what I talk about all the time. Staying focused on you, controlling yourself, not trying to lose yourself under within everybody else's stuff. And so that's Coram Deo. That's what I'm calling my kind of, not a spin off, it's just my random thoughts throughout this process because I always have something to think about and something I want to talk about. So let's see. Before I can continue, Stephanie, oh yes, Stephanie Specialties, she did her first live last night showing how her decorative skills on her Steffi's, and she's also in the process of putting together a website. So I'll have got that stuff available to you guys too. And yeah, there you go. Cheers to Katie, Evan Williams, Kentucky Bourbon Straight. That's right. Good, good, good. Yum. Cheers, Katie. All right. So those are my three cheers. My Facebook post of the week. I haven't really. I've seen some good ones, but fortunately for me, on my timeline, there are a lot of people that are just trying to pull out goodness around you and not get lost in the mucky muck, right? But there's a lot of misinformation out there also. So you guys have to be careful with that and reading it, especially as it pertains to you and your family and the COVID-19. Just using your better judgment on what it looks like, what it's supposed to feel like, right? So you're going to have to just kind of read through and see what is and what isn't. You just don't want to get lost in somebody telling you something. Katie, she's at I think it's at Stephanie's Specialties. Let me type it in here. So she's asking for Stephanie's link. So Stephanie, is this right? Specialties. Oh shoot. Specialties at Stephanie's Specialties. I think that's it. She's on Instagram and also Facebook. Her name is Stephanie Mills. Stephanie, can you type your social handles in the comments? Thank you. All right, so I just, that's a big deal for me, and I talked about that tonight, about people and misinformation and not even knowing how to interpret information. So you guys know I'm big on learning. Always, we are constantly learning something new. You should always be learning something. So we have to be very careful getting information from people that are not doing research. They're only taking pieces and talking about it. And an example of that was today, somebody was talking about the vaccine for the COVID-19 wasn't working. And it was a long thread of people talking about this. And I finally just got it. When I saw it, I said, there isn't a vaccine. There isn't a vaccine for COVID-19. So don't even go there, because, that makes people afraid that if they get sick, they're not going to get the vaccine, or it's not working. And, or if they, but it's not a vaccine. There's a trial on it. So from the time that there's something, starting the trial, completing the trial, a year from, that's when there's possibly a vaccine. So it's not anything urgent. It's not something that happens like right off. So we're really in a difficult space in that. And we'll spend a little time on that. But my Facebook post of the week was about this guy, the one that I spent so much time laughing about this week. It's kind of funny, where this guy says, Lorenzo Hickson, he said she wants a $6,000 ring, a $25,000 wedding, a $50,000 car, and a $500,000 house. and all she has to offer in return is pre-owned pussy. So I read some of the comments on it because I thought that was kind of funny, and then I just made my comment and said, well, you got to love those renewable resources, right? So, just people try to minimize what the other is bringing into a relationship, and it always goes to somebody's sexuality, who they are sexually, what they've done, because that's their way of trying to carve people out. Well, to put limits on people and what people talk about and how people express themselves, when we already know from talking about this before that people who get lost and can't see anything in another human is that they're living in a basic space of their physiological needs. So I thought it was funny. And besides, you can never go wrong with pussy. I mean, what are you gonna do with it? It's probably one of the most durable things we have. I mean, that's a negative term. I know it's a negative term, but I'm just using it because that's what the post said. And you can't limit or minimize a person based on their sexuality or based on their sexual organs. There's so much that goes into it other than those things. So we have to be really careful with that. I always I know I just got a message saying that it was freezing. I think I'm moving now. Well, I look like I'm moving, but it's really like jagged movement, so I don't really know. So I'll just keep going, and if something happens with the sound or the movement, let me know, and then somebody comment, and then I'll get off and get back on. So, I just thought that was kind of funny that people can put a dollar value on it and say those mean things, and most of the time they can't afford to buy you a $6,000 ring or $25,000 wedding or $50,000 car or $500,000 house. So they're already saying these things that they can't afford to do, but they want to put you off saying that you're asking for too much and all you want to do is give them some cooch, right? So, those things are limited, and it is Facebook. A lot of it isn't fun. So that's why I chose that one, because I thought it was silly. I get a lot of laughter out of stuff like that, and it lets me know there are a lot of people out there that's just freaking stuck in their own mind of what they think should be. So I think that that's always kind of funny to me. Another thing, another Facebook post. Uh, I don't even know if I have another one other than people, trying to figure out how to get through this pandemic. Everything is surrounding that. Like how to, they're making posts about things they're doing. I saw a really cute post where a family put together a prom in their house, and they all went to the prom with their senior daughter, and they danced and um, had stuff like that. They had dancing and food and just had a party for her. She was all dressed up in her prom dress that she had purchased and stuff. So I thought that was really cute. We're trying to make the most out of the situation, especially the seniors. The kids graduating from high school. They've been preparing for this, all of their education, and now we're in this space. But we try not to look at it as a negative space. This is a positive space. People are going to die. It's okay. People are going to die. It could be me. It could be you. Death is the greatest gift of living. You know that you have completed your task when you die. So there's not a reason to be fearful of that. So we're going to just work through this. You're going to do everything that you can to stay safe, and you're going to keep the people around you safe. So those are the main things that we should pay attention to. Also, let's see what else is on my Facebook post of the week. Okay, so last week, Wednesday, I told you guys that I was supposed to fly to Atlanta on Thursday because I had an event, but it was postponed. And I think now it's going to be postponed to May. We had said April, but now we're to May because we just don't know what's going on. So I drove to Jacksonville on Wednesday morning, and that's where I did my show from. I had the leopard print furniture. That's my mom's house. She loves that damn leopard print. She has leopard print every damn thing. And so I drove there, and I did the podcast from her house. But anyway, so I drove to Jacksonville, and I stayed with my mom Wednesday night, and then Wednesday day she and I were talking, and she says, I should get up and drive with you to Atlanta. And I was like, of course, come on, road trip. So My mom and I drove up to Atlanta on early Thursday morning, and man, we had so much fun on our road trip. I swear, we left the house at like 8:05. We got there like 2, which is good considering we stopped like 5 or 6 times, like just random ass stopping, using the bathroom. There was a car accident. We had to stop for that. And the funny thing when we stopped for the car accident is that we sat there for like 15 minutes. And then I was like, it would be nice to have a glass of wine right now, right? And she was like, oh, I got some wine in the back seat. So we're sitting like on 75, pouring our wine in our Chick-fil-A cups, dying laughing because we're like, all the technology with cameras and drones and shit. We're probably on camera pouring our drinks. So we sat there and we had a little bit of wine, and then we hadn't had that for 10 minutes, and then the traffic started moving again. But it was so funny because, when you grow up and you have an adult relationship with your parents, an adult relationship of respect and understanding, it's really anything goes because she's gotten past the idea of holding me hostage as a little girl in her thoughts. She's finally starting to see me as a woman. She's finally starting to respect me as a woman. I take care of myself. I'm safe. So I think that our trip up was really good because we had a lot of time to talk to each other about different things that had happened. And not really, it wasn't really cathartic, I guess. It was just more so topics that came up, different family issues, things that she wanted to see, things that she expected, that kind of stuff. My opinion, and you guys know I don't have a problem giving my opinion. But so we did talked about that. Now we got to Marietta. My mom was going to my sister's for the weekend, and I was hanging out with Faceless Love. So we went to hang out with him for a while, and that was really fun. My mom loves hanging out with him because he's so much freaking fun. Same thing I say. She loves being with him because he's so easy. Like he just me and my mom together, we are a mess. And then with him, we're really a mess because he's got us. We're not worried about anything. So we sat there and talked, and he worked a little. And then we had a couple cocktails and smoked cigars. And then my sister came and picked my mom up. And then they were gone. But that was a lot of fun. And we were laughing about one time that we all spent some time together, and we went to the Marietta Diner. We were so freaking blasted. Me and my mom was so blasted. And it's so funny because I talk about me and my mom being blasted together. And it's really kind of such a dynamic because it's my mom. She's not my girlfriend. She's not ever my girlfriend. She's my mom, right? So our conversations are that of a mother and daughter, but our interactions that of two adult women, right? So we were so blasted one night. We went to a Marietta Diner, and neither one of us could freaking read the menu. Like I just was like, just order me something. I don't care. And she was like, I just want a steak, right? So then Faceless Love was with us. So he's ordering our food and stuff, and we're sitting in there laughing. We finally got the food and stuff at the table, and we ate his whole plate. We didn't even eat our own food. We ended up eating his food because he had like a fried fish plate. It was so good. So we ended up eating his plate. And then the next time we went, he ordered that for us. He was like, don't even tell me what y'all want. I'm just going to order y'all the same thing I'm getting. So we thought that was kind of funny. We laughed about that. So it's really neat seeing her interact with him because she's known him since he was just a young man, like 17, 16, 17, 18 years old. So that's when she first met him. So just watching them interact and talk about things that they remember about each other when we were so young is really good for me. Really good for all of us. So we had a great time. My mom left. So back to the weekend, my mom left and went to my sister's, and then Faceless Love and I just kind of sat and chilled because the whole thing was we were going to be self isolating. We're going to be together. We're going to, even though my events were canceled, we were just going to be together and hang out and just love on each other. And I'm very happy that we did because I think we both needed it. We realized that we are definitely key to each other's happiness and each other's completion. And we look for those times that we can just kind of dissolve or just kind of release to each other. So it was really, that's really good for us. So that was cool. So that was Thursday. Friday, we didn't really do anything Friday. I think we watched Ozark and hung out. Now remember, we were on self quarantine, so we're not going anywhere. So we started watching Ozark on Friday, and then Saturday morning I had put together a golf tournament for. I had put a golf tournament together for him. Hang on just a second. Hey, Anthony, right, was it Mother's Day? It felt like Mother's Day, right? We had a great time together. So, but anyway, I had put a golf tournament together for Faceless Love and his friends just on a whim about 3 months ago on for Saturday morning. And so they had a tea time at 8:30. So my brother came, two of his friends and him, and they played golf. And it was just really a great time. And then after they finished, we had lunch and sat and talked a little bit longer. And one of his friends was like, "Okay, we're gonna do this again next year. We're gonna have the second annual, you know." So his friends had a really good time, and I liked it. I had a good time. I felt it's been a long time for me being in the role of having a party or having an event, because remember I went ghost like years ago. I just kind of went off the grid. I wasn't catering to anybody, I wasn't having any parties, I wasn't doing any of that. But this gave me an opportunity to take care of him and take care of his friends, and to make sure they had the finest cigars and the best bourbon, hence the Old Scout, and some Blantons and Willets. And man, they had some great labels on that table and some great cigars, and the food was good. And they had like a backpack cooler with beer for them to take around the course with them. So that put me in a kind of a role of servitude to him and to his friends, and it actually felt good. I was like, I enjoyed that. Like I enjoyed taking care of him. I enjoyed taking care of his friends, putting it together. And I that was kind of another level of confirmation to me that finally I'm ready to be in a relationship again, because I'm not feeling resentful about taking care of or doing something for someone. I literally wanted to please him. So that was really cool. Saturday, the golf tournament. And then Saturday night we chilled, and that pollen was so thick up there. I don't know how many of you guys are in Georgia, in the Atlanta area, but that pollen was so thick that my eyeballs were aching. And so we chilled Saturday evening. We chilled all day Sunday. And then I left, my mom and I left driving back to Jacksonville late Sunday afternoon. And she had a good time again. Driving back, we had a good time again. I'll just say that. But it was funny. And she and I just, it was just really cool hanging out with her, being with her, and not being afraid to speak my own understanding of me and situations. And I helped her with some stuff, and she shed light on some stuff for me. So it was really good for both of us, like dynamic. So, and I think a lot of times women have a problem with that relationship with their moms, because we grow up wanting to please them. We want to please our moms. We don't want them to be disappointed. And we kind of cower in their presence, or we hold back our what we want to say for fear of being disrespectful, for fear of them not liking what we're going to say. But I don't have that anymore. I'm an adult woman. She's an adult woman. We've had some similar experiences. We've had different experiences. And, it was just really good to be able to talk to her and just to share that time. And she had a good time too. So we got back to her house, not late, 9 o'clock, maybe Sunday night. And then I got up and drove home Monday morning, because I had to, return the car. And then, of course, now I've got to spend like 14 days in the self quarantine to check for symptoms, kind of make note of where I've been and see how I'm going to feel as the next couple weeks go along. So, and, hopefully I'm fine. So, that's the goal, is to be fine. And we'll see. Right. But the weekend was great. I'm so happy that I got to see Faceless Love because I needed to see him. So that was really good for me. Um, let's see what else. Oh, another thing is, what this time being off work. Well, not really. I'm not even off work anymore. I'm working. I'm teaching, but it's not like. And you guys may be experiencing something similar to this, where you get up and you go to work. You have to go and be somewhere for a certain amount of time. Well, now I don't have to do that. I'm teaching remotely. But you guys know me, my life is like a 24-hour party. Like, I'm always doing something. Always with a glass of wine, always dancing around somewhere, going walking, exercising. I'm always doing something. So now that I don't have any restrictions on where I have to be, it's like I'm constantly on this party thing. So I don't know when my day begins or when my day ends, because they could be in the middle of the day and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna take a nap. Because it's like, what the hell do I have to do? Like, I don't know. I don't know how to manage this time of working from home or being in quarantine. And you guys are probably going through some of the same things. I literally don't know how to manage it, right? So I'm just like, well, okay, I'm working now, but then I'm not working. But I'm not dressed. I mean, I got on leggings and a workout shirt. So I haven't even put on any clothes. Well, this weekend I had on some clothes past weekend, but for during the week, I could wear my leggings and workout stuff all day, every day, and it doesn't even matter. Nobody has to see me. And I'm like, well, okay, today is Tuesday. I took a bath yesterday. Was it yesterday? So I'm like literally having these conversations with myself, like, when was my last bath? Like, was it in the morning or was it in the afternoon? Like, okay, I'm just gonna go take a bath. Cause it's like my whole day, every day is the same day. I feel like I'm in an episode of Groundhog Day where it's everything is literally blended into each other, right? So I'm trying to kind of keep a handle on that because I was thinking when this is all over, either I'm gonna be a freaking awesome ass specimen of a 50-year-old, or I'm gonna be a damn mess. My extremes. I'm either gonna work out and be fabulously fit when it's over, or I'm gonna be a damned mess. Those are the extremes. I know somebody made a post on Facebook that said, so when this is over, does my 600-pound life come get you, or do you have to call them and tell them where you are? So I think we're all having the same issue. Like, what the hell do we do with all this time? And what do we do with all this time, right? So we have to just try to figure it out. So Kiba said, day pajamas and not night pajamas rock. Absolutely. Like, what the hell? um Somebody posted, instead of wearing leggings, you should put on jeans. That tells you the truth about if you're gaining weight or not. Or walk around in your swimsuit, right? So you can kind of see your body changing. You're not doing anything. But I'm like, man, I'm this is too much leisure time for my brain, because if I'm off, I feel like it's time to party. It's time to do something. Let's cheers. Cheers to cocktails all the time. And not to mention, they were saying that some liquor stores were going to be closing somewhere. I was like, Lord, I said I wasn't going to use this credit card, but I'm going to have to go on and pull it out for the liquor store. That's what I've been, that's the funny thing is this, like, you guys, I've talked about it before. I don't really like to have bills because I don't like to pay them. So the key to not paying bills is to not have any. So I've worked very hard to not have any bills. So last summer I traveled a lot and I used a couple credit cards. Finally got them paid off. So it was down to, I'm not paying anything. I'm not using my credit cards because I don't like to pay the bill. That's true. So now that we're in this coronavirus and we're on this self isolation and going to. I'm thinking of all the craziest things to spend money on that I wouldn't normally spend money on. So I had my Coach. I was on the Coach website today, and I had like $600 worth of stuff in my cart, and I sat there and watched the time run down on my cart. I didn't even put my credit card in. I was just like, I'm not buying this shit. I'll be mad. Like, I can't believe I bought all this crap. And so that's kind of where I am now. I'm getting bored, and I'm looking for ways to spend money. So that means either going to the liquor store with it or spending it on something random. But either way, I'm when the bills start rolling in, I'm not gonna want to pay them. Then I'll be mad that I have bills from this. Oh my gosh, Kiba said her waist beads are about to cut her in half. Oh no. That's hilarious. I can't even imagine having some waist beads on right now. Yeah, as Steph Marie says, she don't want to work from home. She needs somewhere to go. And Anthony, I'm drinking Old Scout American whiskey. It's smooth ambler. It's yummy, yummy, yummy. So yeah, this is really going to be interesting for all of us. How are we going to look when we get out of this? How are we going to look when this is over? We have, with the coronavirus, I talked about it earlier. It's a lot of false information out there. Do the things you always do. We're going to lose a lot of people. So I think New York had like 250 deaths in a day. It was either Monday or Tuesday that was reported. And I saw that FEMA was bringing in like 35 to 40 refrigerated trucks to put bodies in. So the funny thing about living in the United States is that we're the only country that will exhaust our resources trying to keep people who are dying alive. I know that sounds really crass, right? But in other countries, there's a respect for the process of dying, and there's no one's going to exhaust their funds trying to keep a dying person alive. No other country. So the United States is the only country that feels like we're going to keep everybody alive, but we're not going to. This pandemic is definitely going to take some lives, and I said that earlier. It could be mine, it could be yours. We are going to we are going to definitely lose some people in this. And I mean, it's almost a cleansing. It's like a cleansing of the earth, right? So, and we go through it ever so often. That's how we lose. We go through these kind of cleansing phases, and that's how we things become extinct. We lose a group of people who weren't able to move forward. So that's why we look at our elderly and people with compromised immune systems, and your immune system is what keeps you alive and keeps you moving, and fights off diseases and helps you with your viruses. That's your fever. If you've ever had a fever, that's your body telling you, I'm working to kind of control what's going on. So our body has that natural response to taking care of itself, and those who can do, and those who can't don't. And there's not anything that we can do about it, right? So you'll be, people who have the COVID-19 are treated lots of fluids. They'll put some antibiotics in there to minimize the risk of bacteria growing. They'll treat you for the symptoms that you have. That's it. That's it. And if you're not strong enough to get past that, then those are the people who die. And it's literally survival of the fittest. We've all heard that. Only the strong survive. We've heard that before, right? So, and that's what happens, and kind of a natural selection happens. So we'll see what this is. It's not anybody. It's a waste of time for us to point blame that somebody did something or somebody, because even in the midst and all of this pandemonium, we have to remember that we have a purpose. Like, there's a reason we were chosen to be here. There's something that we have to do, and we can't get lost in all the stuff that's happening around us. The universe is balancing. Exactly right, Katie. The universe is balancing. So we have to really pay a close attention to that. Is that we still have a purpose. You can't lose sight of who you are in this quiet time of not moving around a lot. And that's really good that everybody's not all over the place. And if you can stay in, stay in. If you can minimize your contact with people, then minimize your contact with people. And that's what I had to tell one of my coworkers who wanted to get together to talk about how we're doing the distance learning. He's like, "Well, I'm fine. I'm not sick." So, and I'm like, "I'm not either, but you have a brand new baby at home." So that means whoever I've been around contact with, you're taking that home to your family, and that's not fair for me. That's my social responsibility of what I can do to minimize the spread of COVID-19. So for me getting it or other people getting it. This morning I went to the grocery store to get some salad because I have to have some salad 50, so I got to have green vegetables in my diet. So I went to get some salad this morning and some water and some wine, essentials. Well, sparkling water and some wine, just essentials. And they have the 15 people at a time limit in the store. And then there was a line outside of us 6 feet apart waiting to go in the store, right? So one in, one out, one in, one out. And the store was doing really well managing that. And you could tell people were frustrated on the sidewalks. But you have to understand that people being frustrated about something, that's their own issue. It's personal. It's not to me. They don't know me. They're not responsible for taking care of me. And I can't say, come stand next to me to make them happy, to put myself at risk and then my daughter and son-in-law and my granddaughter. And I keep in mind I was just traveling this weekend, so I too have to be aware of people around me. So it's going to require a lot of patience, understanding. People are going to be panicking, trying to figure out what to do and how to do it. And so we have to just be aware that as calm as we are is as calm as we are, right? So there's no reason to get turned and start trying to fight and all this BS, right? And, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of information out there. A lot of information. And from the top down, just craziness, chaos being said, and people looking at other countries looking at the United States as not being ready, or third world country. Somebody referred to us as a third world country. We're one of the greatest countries in the world, and we have so much chaos here and so much misunderstanding. But that's people in their selfish space. So when you think about your leaders and trying to make decisions to take care of populations, where you're looking at the city, the county, the state, however you want to look at it, when people took these offices, they had no idea that this would be the undertaking this would be the task they would be undertaking, they'd be tasked with, right? They had no idea this would be the thing. Trying to figure it out too, and they're trying to make it like we feel like they should know everything, but they're learning. And if they have kids, they got kids at home that they're trying to make sure they're doing their work too, and they're trying to protect themselves too, and so all of these things are happening. They're humans too. They're citizens as well, and they're trying to figure it out. And we can't be surprised when somebody in the limelight gets it, or a senator or a mayor, or we can't be surprised. They're just humans, so it doesn't matter. It's a title, and we still have to take care of each other, right? So I was talking to yeah, first world problems, exactly it. I was talking to Faceless Love today, and he's really busy because he's working directly with the control of information as the virus is concerned. So he's limited. I know that he's limited in some of the stuff he shares with me because of the security of his job. So I he I don't go to him and ask him a whole bunch of questions because I don't want him to feel obligated, or I don't want him to have to tell me no to information either. But he's really kind of in it, just managing the flow of information, managing the security of the information, how the information is coming out to the public. So he's in all of that, and he has been busy, busy, busy. So just trying definitely to respect our boundaries on that. This is his job. It's his, what he does is bread and butter. He's been doing it for years, and believe it or not, they were prepared for it, right? So they were prepared for what's happening, in being able to think forward of information and possibilities. So with his job, he has to make sure that the United States is information is secured within the United States. So that there isn't any breaches of information or someone coming in jeopardizing. So this is stuff he works on all the time. So this isn't a surprise for him to be like, oh, this is happening. He's sitting up there licking his chops like, we've been waiting on this. Let's do it. So he's all in, and I'm really proud of him because he handles a lot of stuff, very methodical in that. So I love talking to him, and I'll ask him some little bitty questions and he'll give me some information, but I don't really get the nuts and bolts of stuff. I just listen to what he says to me, like, hey, um, you need to, this was probably 2 weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe even a little longer, 3 weeks maybe. He was like, hey, so you going out today? I'm like, yeah, I got to go do this and this. He's like, all right, so I want you to grab a couple cases of water. I want you to get this and this. And I'm like, okay. I ain't asking no damn questions. I'm like, all right then. You got some gas, your car filled up, you got cash, and I'm like, all right. So it's a tone he uses when he's talking to me, and I don't ask no questions. I was like, all right then. Make sure you get this, and you make sure you got this, and you got some ibuprofen, you got this, and you got, that kind of thing. And I'm like, all right, shit, I bet. And, it's so funny because it's like, he never really gives any directives. Like, he doesn't, but then for that particular thing, he just kind of like hit a few line items, like, you need to have these on hand. And I was like, all right, and I got him, and that was it. We didn't have another discussion about him. And I think that's making me a really good girlfriend because, I'm not like, well, I ain't going to the store yet, and why I need to get this stuff, and da 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 da. I didn't do none of that. I was just like, bet, and went and got it. So, so I respect him, and he works really hard, and and this is a very busy time for him, a very busy time for him. So we'll see what this is like when this is all said and done, right? So I think let's see, moving on. Oh, the schools are closed. You guys all know that because all of y'all are home with y'all babies and miss the babies. I do. So we just found out we're closed until May 1st, but it'll probably be for the rest of the year. So I'm sure that I'm in Florida. I know Georgia has already announced they're out till the end of the year, and I'm thinking that we're probably going to be in line with that too. One of my administrators seems to think that we may not even start school on time in August. So I don't know what that's about, but I'm hoping that that's not the case. But I mean, if it is, then it just is. There's not anything to do about it other than to continue to stay safe, right? Um, we have to uh, e-learning with our students. So I've got a lot of teacher friends on my timeline, and we're all talking about the same thing. How do we do the e-learning component? What are we going to do? How do we make sure the kids are active? How are they doing their work? And that's a big deal. The biggest deal out of all of that is that the parents are learning how to do this too. And that's why I had to, for me, it's like my conversation with my students about e-learning started with the parents. Before I even got to my students, I did like a welcome on our homepage of our learning platform. And then I reached out to all of my parents via text message and said, hi, I teach This is my number, so just to let the parents know that here's a contact person for you should you have any questions. And the parents are like, okay, what do we need to do? And this is her cell phone number, or this is his cell phone number. And I allowed the parents to be active in giving this information before I talked to the kids. So this was, and I have 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So that's a big deal because the parents are afraid. A lot of parents don't use, a lot of grown-ups don't use the technology like the kids use it because they feel comfortable with using what they use for work. They don't need to use anything else. They're fine with that. Kind of the stop learning. And that's really been a big deal to get the parents involved in talking them through how to use the different platforms and where to find information. Um, and that's scary. You think of it as an adult because my kids are grown. My son is in 11th grade, but otherwise my daughters are grown. So I don't have any small kids that I'm trying to talk through, but I know that these parents are learning how to do the Zoom meetings, how to use the Pearson Elevate, how to use Fast Math. All of this is all new stuff to the parents, and the kids are like, they're familiar enough with the computer, their level of self-efficacy computers gets them to a place of not being afraid to look for it. And the parents don't have that. They've lost it. The technology has outdone them so fast, right? So as a parent, it's really important to kind of stay up on the technology. Don't become obsolete. That's the thing that we have to hang on to is we can't become obsolete. That means we've gotten comfortable somewhere and we become obsolete. I'm going to give you an example of somebody becoming obsolete. Think of when people who I'll give you this example. When I was in high school, maybe I used to make the pancakes at McDonald's. Did you guys ever know that somebody actually made pancakes? I used to make the pancakes. I had this mix the batter, pour it in this thing, and squeeze the pancakes out. Nobody makes pancakes at McDonald's anymore. They come from a factory, they're frozen, they throw them in a microwave. Obsolete. There are many jobs where people have become obsolete. There are many things where people hit a ceiling or they stop learning, and then when their job goes away, there's nothing else that they can do. They start going back trying to relearn. So I think that it's our responsibility to always learn, to continue to learn. You can't stop learning. Remember, I just said earlier, it's survival of the fittest. The more you know, the more you grow, the further you can go with what you need to do. And that's where we are. So if you're at a place and you feel like you're stuck or you can't do it, you almost have to put it in your mind that you have to learn how to do it too. This is a great time for people to go back to school. They didn't graduate high school, or they didn't go to college, or started college and didn't finish. This is a great time to go back. It's a great time to continue to build yourself as a person, because you can't let your kids outgrow you eventually, but you determine when that growth happens, like when they outgrow you. Otherwise, you need to stay on it. um, Stephanie said she's happy that her child is 80% self-reliant, and that is amazing. There's so many kids, like my my son is a junior. I don't have to say anything to him about his work. He's a junior. He's in a great program. They compete with each other about getting their work done. But for kids who struggle in the academic setting and now they've been removed out of the academic setting, this e-learning may be the thing for them. I have students that drove me crazy in the classroom that I've had the best conversations with since we started e-learning. This is a good platform for them. The distance learning is good for them. They can do it at their own pace. They don't have to be in a place. They can do it when they want to, right? So it's a big deal for them and it's really good. But I would advise the parents to invest in themselves to continue to grow. That is crazy, crazy, crazy important. So this week, Monday was our first day that we started our e-learning because we were on spring break And then we had a week off because we didn't know what the hell was going on. So we started e-learning on Monday. Well, last week, it wasn't Monday. I was back. What day is it? Wednesday. The week before, I was able to go into my classroom and get a few necessities out of my classroom. My teacher's edition books, my pacing guides, just that stuff, and just stuff that I'll use, parent and family engagement, just random stuff I could do from home. And then when I was getting ready to leave, I realized that no one would be on campus to water my plants. So when I started teaching at this school 4 years ago, I bought this little bitty pothos, little plant, little ivy leaf. You guys probably, let me see if I can hold it up. So here's a leaf of it right here. So I bought this little bitty plant in this little bitty pot. It was probably this size. This is my cactus I had to bring home. So I bought a little bitty plant. And it's been in my classroom ever since. So at the beginning of each semester, well, not each semester, at the beginning of the fall semester, so in August, I'll have my 7th or 6th grade class repot my plant. So, and I just, no particular reason why, I just started doing it. So the first year, then the second year we repotted, and we potted this year. So when I was leaving, I realized nobody's going to be at the campus to water my plant. Now, we have our custodial services. Sometimes they'll water it. If my principal's on campus, he'll water it like in the summertime. So it just stays in my classroom. And I realized when I was leaving, I needed to take my plant because nobody would water it. And I went to pick it up, and it's in a big pot now, and it's gotten so big, and I just had to carry it out like this. And I think that was the first inkling of tears that I wanted to shed, thinking that I'm leaving my classroom. Like, I'm leaving my classroom. I had already felt a little misty because before we left for spring break, the Friday before we left, I laid out these projects that my first period was working on so they would be on their desk when we returned from spring break. So I already had my class ready for last Monday. I had all my information on the board, the date, lunch, everything planned out. It was ready for me to walk in Monday and go to work. And so when I saw that stuff, I had already felt a little overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, my kids aren't coming back. Like, they're not going to come back. And I told this person this, and oh, I still got this point sheet right here. And so I'm literally in my mind thinking of all the loose ends. And then I got the stuff that I needed, some stuff to the car, came back in my room to get a couple more things. And then I had the plant. And then I'm walking out holding the plant. And I wanted to cry. But I told y'all, my tears just get stuck. They just don't flow right, right? It's only a couple times that tears will flow, or just they'll get to the surface, but they don't just flow. So I don't know if that's a mechanism that I have to, but whatever. So I'm walking out and I'm carrying my plant, and I realized that this was the first time my plant had left this classroom. Like, my classroom was in balance, and this plant was a part of the balance. And I was sad, and I just was thinking about my kids that I wouldn't get to see anymore, the kids I fussed at on that Friday before they left, how I didn't get to apologize, and really just the emotional time. And I don't think that people understand what it means to be in the classroom with all these different energies and all these personalities and all these learning and understanding and exchange of information, and you're the person they rely on for what they need in the classroom. That's over to me because I enjoy being a teacher. I'm good at it. I'm good at teaching. I'm a great teacher. I know that because I'm so strong and I'm powerful and I have a way with words. I left there thinking like, oh my God, I didn't even get to give these students everything that I have for them. Into space of putting them off, telling them you're going to be great, and I didn't get to give this to them. I didn't. It was taken, so I was really sad about that. I am trying to um, come now through e-learning. It's taken away the social experience. It's taken away the maybe that mothering give, taken away the smiles and the love that you share and the whispers and the atta girls and atta boys. It's taken that away. So transition. It's definitely going to be a transition for the teachers to release that part, not release it, but to do of loving students, the babies, right? Because that's what I call mine, the babies. We have to release that of babies because when school starts back in August, we have all new kids. So I'm trying to figure that out. Really, I was trying to figure out what to do next. Where I left education and now in education. Maybe there's something else for me in education. So it's us just kind of me kind of growing through this pandemic. COVID-19, we'll never forget it. It'll be our thing. And it's also me thinking for the parents, never stop growing. If you have school age kids and you decided for some reason that you weren't going to continue your education, whether high school, college, if you went to college for something and you working in a different field or you want to go to college for something else, I say go. Take advantage of it. Go. Like, owe it to yourself to be the best possible self that you can. You owe it to yourself to be okay in a crisis. You owe it to yourself to be okay in a crisis. And it's okay to be many different things. You don't have to be a. This isn't my parents' generation where people got a job and that was the only job they had. Now we can do anything. You can be a lawyer and then you can do something different, or you can own your own business and you can be a teacher. I recommend education for everybody. Nothing or no one holds you hostage in a space that you get to where you can't take care of yourself. Anybody around you that aids in your crippling or aids in your limitations or aids in you being held hostage, you got to get away from them. And I would say that every week, because right now, in the of how you'll take care of yourself, if you take self, how you're going to take care of the people around you. If you're unsure of those things in this crisis, owe it to do something different to prepare for the next thing. This isn't the thing that will end you. This can't be the thing that ends you, right? And if anybody has any questions or wants some information about looking at different avenues of education or learning or opportunity, send me a message. We can talk through it. You know, I got that spiritual gift survey on my page. You can take that. There's so much information out there. I'm like 50 years old now. I think all the time, should I finish my PhD? Should I go to be a principal? Should I be a ballerina? Should I be a mermaid? I go for it all the time about what should be. And they do all kinds of stuff. I've had 3, 4 careers, right? But there's never a time that you stop learning, and there's never a time that you allow yourself to get stuck. Because when you allow yourself to get stuck, or you have loyalty to somebody's business and you're waiting on them to pay you in this time of crisis, same people who will say, I've got to let you go, I can pay you doing this, and then you're like, but I've done this doesn't matter. It's about and how people are going to get from one thing to the next. So to, to grow, they do a lot of I think it was University of Colorado. You can school, get your degree. I push education. I'm like nobody's business. It drives me insane when somebody says, "Well, college isn't for everybody and education isn't for everybody." That drives me crazy when people say that because I believe that education, learn more, being more, those stepping stones are the things that get us to the greatest things, right? So, it's 10 o'clock. It's Joycelyn Wells with Joy Exposed. And don't forget that any of our past episodes can be downloaded from iTunes, Google Play, Pandora, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And man, YouTube. I'll probably have a couple more episodes of Coram Deo. Remember living in His light, living in God's light, and just living in the moment and being the best that you can be in that moment. So it's me and my old scout, American Whiskey, and tonight we're saying cheers, and we'll see you guys next week. Mwah.